Hello friends, and welcome back to Zach Writes Code. We're going to do a couple of bug fixes from the last video. For those of you who might be playing around with the router, you'll notice a couple of things. So here's our root route that basically just has an echo in it that says im/route/index.php. But you'll notice a couple things. So if you were to pass in a query parameter, let's just say asdf equals qwer because it just works on the keyboard. Well, now the route appears to be completely broken, a totally blank page with no output at all whatsoever, even if we view the page source. So let's take a look here. We know we're not getting to this file, so let's back up and go to our router and throw in an echo really quick just to see what's happening here. We'll echo the route that it finds. Refresh. Oh, okay, so we're seeing that the route's not found. So basically what we have to do in our router is just handle that. And it's as simple as just doing an if statement, if route equals route not found. Then we're just simply going to, for now, you can handle this any way you want. You can send it to a 404 page, reroute it however you want to do it, but for now we're just going to do die and simply respond with a route not found. All right, so we've kind of fixed it. If we take a look here, we'll refresh and yeah, we can see it's just going to say route not found. And I'll add a exclamation mark just so you guys can see that it's actually doing the function here where it dies instead of just saying what it said with the echo. So it is dying with a message, but why is that route not found? All we've done is add a query string. So why did that fail? Well, it's because in the last video, I messed up our configuration file. And I will show you right now how to fix that. So let's go back into our configuration file for nginx, nano/etc nginx sites-e enabled default. All right. Come down here to where we added this line, or added this I guess addition to this line. You'll see that I just put in question mark query string. I need a $sign in front of that query string so that nginx will actually pass that variable in. Right now it's literally sending question mark query string to that file. So it's not getting what we're passing in through our URL. So we'll save that. Control X, save buffer, yes, and enter. We'll do nginx-t to make sure we didn't ruin it. Everything looks good. System control, restart nginx. Of course, we'll see this go red here once it's lost connection. Refresh, we're good. Now we should be able to come back and refresh. And it's still not working. Why is that not working? Route not found. Let's echo our URI. Save, refresh. Okay, so you can see that we're still got a little bit to work out here. It's not as simple now that we have our query string being passed in correctly. The query string is a part of the URI. So what we have to do, and you can see that here, is right before, we're echoing our URI, and it's got the query string included in that. What we have to do is use this function called stir2k. And you guys can look that up in the PHP manual, but basically what it does is it grabs the substring right before the character that you pass in to that second argument. So here's a Stack Overflow that kind of basically this guy answers that question. Guy has the exact same problem. He says, I just want the path part of the URL, but I get the query string as well. How do I get this? And he goes into a variety of ways, but this is the most concise way. So we'll hit save, refresh, and there we go. Now we're actually back into our route. We are just getting the slash or the path portion of the URI. Query string has now been extracted from it, and we're in our file again. So let's clean this file back up. Take out the echo. So we're not getting our URI. Now we're IM routes once again. So just to see that the query string is getting included or properly parsed by PHP, we'll do a var dump $get. Save. And there we go. So we got our var dump, our key of ASDF, and our value of QWER. Another thing you guys will have invariably noticed is that the routes folder that we have to store our routes in is accessible through nginx. So you don't have to do, slash to get to the route/index.php. You can also do /routes/ and that gives you the same thing. So if you wanted to make sure that for security purposes that all your routing was unable to be bypassed, meaning you want everything routed through your router.php file, you could do it a couple of ways. You could obscure this directory in a higher level path that is not accessible by the root of the server, or you can go into your nginx config file and just deny access to that folder. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to go nano etc nginx sites enabled default. And we're going to create a new block just below the location slash. And in this block, we're going to deny all and return a 404. Yeah, so, yep, we're seeing right now that we're getting it through /routes. Here we'll hit Control X. Oh, why did I save? I must have hit Control S. Yeah, I hit Control S first, and then I hit Control X. So you can see location /routes deny all return 404 is in there. Control X, nginx-t. Looks like our config file is good. System control restart nginx. Wait for that to restart. We'll come over here and we get 404 not found. So now everything is being routed through the router.php file, and there is access denied to the routes folder through the URL. Okay, so now that we have that little bug fixed, let's also get our tiny file manager editor to work with our dynamic routes. If we recall before in our last video, whenever we wanted to create a folder with a colon in it, we would get this error message that says invalid characters in file or folder name. So let's go ahead and copy this so we can try to find where that occurs in our tiny file manager. So we went to our root folder here, our files.php, advanced editor. I'm going to hit Control F to search, paste that in, and we see we get this FM set message, invalid characters in file or folder name in this else block. So let's scroll up and see where this starts. Okay, so it's saying if FM underscore is valid underscore file name. So we know this function is returning an invalid file name. Let's look for that function. All right, paste that into our find. I gotta actually copy it here, Control C. I don't know why that didn't work. FM is valid file name. Let's look next. Okay, that's using the function again. Let's find the function. Here we go, function. So it's basically looking for if the file has any of these characters, it's going to return false. So let's take out the colon character, hit save. Now I want to point out something here. We are taking something away from a function that has this comment here that says that it's designed to prevent cross-site scripting attacks. Now, it is probably a small risk taking this colon character out of here, but I'd say it's pretty low. There's probably, with the rest of these characters being, filtered out, I'd say the majority of any cross-site scripting that would be possible is largely filtered out with these characters. So it's a pretty low risk to take the colon out. If you guys disagree, or if you have a reason why that colon really is a huge security threat or risk, give me some comments, send me some messages. I'll gladly take a look at this. And if you guys have alternative ways to handle this, I'm certainly interested in looking at that. But at the moment, for what we're doing, we're playing around, I'd say this is pretty low risk. The other reason why I think this is a little bit lower risk is because this tiny file manager is password protected. So you'd have to be logged in the first place in order to launch a script, and you'd be probably at that stage clicking on something that you shouldn't be, that's bringing you back into this to launch a malicious cross-site scripting attack. So in my opinion, the risk is pretty low. So let's move forward. Go back home, hit our routes. Let's try to create a folder now with a colon in it. And folder :ASDF is created, right on. Let's throw in an index file and see if we get to it with our router. I am ASDF. Let's throw in a slash. We'll throw in just any old thing. We'll throw in an ASDF again. How about that? Route not found. Yeah. It's probably a little bit too ambiguous, I think. I am ASDF. Or it was a slash. That might have been it. Yep, it was a slash. So I had the slash at the end of the ASDF that forced the route to look for the extra path or another path section. So yeah, that's it. That works. Now we can write dynamic routes with our tiny file manager. Cool, guys. Catch me in the next videos.